Silver Creek was a small, dusty town nestled between rolling hills and wide-open skies. Its dirt streets were lined with wooden buildings, their paint chipped and faded from the hot sun. The townsfolk were hard-working and friendly, always ready to lend a hand or share a laugh. At the center of town stood the Silver Star Saloon, where laughter and music floated out into the streets, inviting weary travelers to step inside. Life in Silver Creek revolved around community. Families gathered for weekend dances, while children played games of tag around the wagons parked near the general store. But this town also had its share of rough edges. Stories of past shootouts whispered through saloon doors and around campfires at night. Despite its charm, Silver Creek was not without its dangers. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the dusty ground, an unusual hush fell over the town. A stranger on horseback approached, silhouetted against the vibrant sunset. With every stride of his horse, curiosity grew among the townspeople. Who was this newcomer? What brought him to their peaceful village? Little did they know that this arrival would change everything in Silver Creek forever. As the sun sank lower, casting a golden glow over Silver Creek, the sound of hooves echoed through the quiet streets. The townsfolk turned to see a solitary rider approaching on a dusty brown horse. With a wide-brimmed hat shadowing his face and a weathered duster billowing behind him, the drifter had an air of mystery that stirred both curiosity and caution among the locals. Jake, as he introduced himself, dismounted with a practiced ease. His eyes scanned the town, taking in the wooden buildings and the gathering crowd. Whispers rippled through the onlookers. Some wondered where he had come from, while others speculated about why he had chosen Silver Creek as his destination. Children paused their games, and adults exchanged wary glances, sensing that this newcomer might disrupt their peaceful life. Jake strolled toward the Silver Star Saloon, where laughter and music faded into silence as he entered. The bartender eyed him closely, pouring a drink but keeping one hand near his own pistol. Jake's presence was magnetic. It drew attention but also suspicion. The townspeople couldn't shake off a feeling that this stranger carried secrets beneath his rugged exterior. Secrets that could change everything in Silver Creek. Word of Jake's arrival spread quickly through Silver Creek, igniting whispers and rumors among the townsfolk. Some claimed he was once part of a notorious outlaw gang, while others insisted he had a dark past that made him a danger to the community. As tales grew taller with each passing hour, the atmosphere shifted from curiosity to unease. In the shadows of the Silver Star Saloon, Sheriff Thompson listened carefully to the gossip floating around. He was a respected figure in town, known for his calm demeanor and strong sense of justice. Yet, even he felt a stir of concern as the rumors about Jake intensified. The sheriff knew that a potential threat could disrupt the peace he had worked hard to establish in Silver Creek. Determined to confront the stranger, Sheriff Thompson sought out Jake, whose cool confidence only seemed to deepen the sheriff's suspicions. When they finally came face to face, the tension in the air was palpable. Townsfolk watched from a distance, eager to see how this confrontation would unfold. Would Jake prove to be a friend or foe? The stakes were higher than ever, and both men were ready to defend their honor. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting a fiery glow over Silver Creek, Sheriff Thompson approached Jake with determination. The townspeople had gathered in a hushed circle, eager to witness the confrontation. The sheriff's voice was steady but firm as he asked Jake why he had come to their town, demanding answers amidst rising tension. Jake stood tall, his expression unreadable beneath the brim of his hat. With a calm demeanor that belied the escalating situation, he replied that he meant no harm and was simply passing through. But the sheriff's piercing gaze showed he was not convinced. The rumors surrounding Jake weighed heavily on his mind. Feeling challenged by Thompson's questioning and sensing the eyes of the crowd upon them, Jake took a step forward and issued a bold challenge. "If you think I'm a threat, let's settle this like men, one-on-one." His words echoed through the twilight air, stirring a mix of shock and excitement among the townsfolk. The sheriff hesitated for a moment but recognized that to maintain order, he could not back down from a duel. The stakes were set high. With hearts pounding and breaths held, everyone prepared for what would become an unforgettable showdown in Silver Creek. As dawn broke over Silver Creek, excitement buzzed in the air like a swarm of bees. News of the upcoming duel spread quickly, drawing crowds from far and wide. The town square teemed with townspeople, men, women, and children, each eager to see how the clash between Jake and Sheriff Thompson would unfold. It was not just a duel. It was a spectacle that could define their community for years to come. Jake, in a quiet corner, prepared himself for the challenge ahead. He retrieved his rifle and moved to an open field, practicing his aim with focused precision. Each shot rang out like a thunderclap, echoing through the hills surrounding Silver Creek. Despite the noise, he remained calm, knowing that this duel was not just about skill but also about courage. Meanwhile, Sheriff Thompson sought guidance from the town's seasoned gunslingers who gathered around him. They shared stories of past duels and offered tips on strategy and timing. The sheriff absorbed every word, knowing that this encounter would test not only his skills, but also his resolve to protect Silver Creek. As both men prepared in their own ways, tension mounted in the air, setting the stage for an epic showdown that none would soon forget. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting light on the town of Silver Creek, a flashback flickered in Jake's mind. He remembered a past filled with hardship and regret, a life spent running from choices that had led him down a dark path. Once part of a notorious gang, he had witnessed violence that haunted him. After a fateful encounter where he lost a dear friend, Jake decided to leave that life behind. He hoped to find redemption in Silver Creek, but fears of his past catching up with him lingered. Meanwhile, Sheriff Thompson engaged in conversations with the townsfolk, reinforcing his commitment to justice. An elderly woman recounted how Thompson had once saved her son from a band of outlaws, while another man praised the sheriff for keeping peace in their town through difficult times. These stories painted a picture of a leader who deeply cared for his community and would do anything to protect it. As both Jake and Sheriff Thompson prepared for the duel, their backgrounds became more intertwined than they realized. Each man carried his own burdens and hopes, setting the stage for a confrontation that was not just about skill, but also about understanding their pasts and what lay ahead. The sun rose on the fateful day, casting a warm golden light over Silver Creek. Excitement and anxiety mingled in the air as townspeople gathered in the dusty square, their chatter punctuated by nervous laughter and whispered speculations. The atmosphere felt electric, as if the very ground beneath their feet thrummed with anticipation. Families positioned themselves on wooden benches and hay bales, while children darted around, their innocent giggles contrasting sharply with the seriousness of the moment. Men leaned against the saloon walls, exchanging glances filled with concern. They knew that today would change everything for their community. As Jake arrived at the center of town, his heart raced, each beat echoing in his ears. He scanned the crowd, feeling both the weight of their gazes and the burden of their expectations. Sheriff Thompson stood tall on the opposite side, his expression resolute but betraying a hint of uncertainty. The clock tower chimed, signaling that time was running out. With every tick, tension built, and the spectators held their breath. Everyone knew that this duel was not merely a contest of skill. It was a defining moment for Silver Creek, one that would shape its future and reveal the true character of both men involved. As the clock struck noon, Jake and Sheriff Thompson stood facing each other in the main street of Silver Creek, the townsfolk forming a wide circle around them. The air was thick with tension. Every eye was fixed on the two men who represented opposing sides of a brewing storm. Dust swirled around their boots as they took their positions, both men embodying courage and resolve. With the sun high above, casting sharp shadows, a hush fell over the crowd. The seconds began to count down. 10 and 8. The sound of their voices echoed, blending with quiet whispers of anticipation. Jake felt adrenaline course through him as he locked eyes with Thompson, sensing the weight of the moment pressing down like a heavy blanket. Each man's hand hovered near their weapon, muscles taut and ready. Jake recalled his training, every lesson learned in solitude guiding him now. Sheriff Thompson's face remained stoic, a testament to his years as a protector of Silver Creek. As they reached one, time seemed to freeze for an instant before it shattered like glass. With a shared understanding that this moment would forever alter their lives, both men drew their guns in unison, blades of action slicing through the tense air. A duel for honor and destiny had commenced. Just as the sound of gunfire erupted in Silver Creek, a thunderous roar echoed from beyond the town limits. Out of nowhere, a gang of outlaws charged into the main street, their faces twisted with greed and intent on chaos. The townspeople screamed and scattered, seeking shelter behind wagons and barrels as the outlaws brandished their weapons. Caught in the heat of the moment, Jake and Sheriff Thompson instinctively shifted their focus from each other to the new threat. Realizing they had a common enemy, they exchanged a quick glance, an unspoken agreement passing between them. Survival came first. Jake dove behind a nearby barrel for cover, while Sheriff Thompson ducked behind an old wooden post. Together, they began to fire at the gang members who were now wreaking havoc in Silver Creek. Bullets whizzed past them as both men fought side by side, surprising even themselves with their ability to work together despite their earlier animosity. As the battle raged on, townsfolk rallied together, grabbing rifles from homes and helping where they could. The duel had transformed into a fight for the very soul of Silver Creek, and both Jake and Thompson knew that defending their home would take more than just skill. It would require unity against a common foe. As the last of the outlaws fell, a heavy silence settled over Silver Creek. Jake and Sheriff Thompson, still breathing heavily from the fight, looked around at their battered town, now quiet but safe. The townspeople began to emerge from their hiding places, relief washing over their faces as they realized they were no longer in danger. Unity had triumphed. The ambush had forged a bond neither man expected. Jake holstered his gun and turned to Sheriff Thompson, recognizing the strength of character in his opponent. "You fought well today," he said, a newfound respect in his voice. The sheriff nodded slowly, feeling a similar admiration for the drifter who had turned out to be an ally in desperate times. "Perhaps there's more to you than I thought," Thompson replied with a hint of a smile. Instead of drawing guns against each other, they had saved lives together, a shift that altered their destinies. The tension that once filled the air was replaced by camaraderie as townsfolk gathered around Jake and Thompson. With hands extended, they sealed this unexpected friendship born in chaos. Both men understood that teamwork and trust could conquer threats far greater than personal rivalries, setting an example for Silver Creek's future. With the threat of the outlaws eliminated, a sense of peace washed over Silver Creek. The townspeople, grateful for their freedom, gathered in the square to celebrate their newfound safety. Amidst the joyful atmosphere, Sheriff Thompson approached Jake, who was still catching his breath from the fierce battle. "Jake," he began, a warm smile spreading across his face. "You've proven yourself today more than I could have imagined. We could use someone like you around here." He extended his hand in friendship and offered Jake a chance to stay in Silver Creek as a protector and ally. Jake hesitated for just a moment, reflecting on his past and the redemption he sought. This town had become more than just another stop. It felt like home. Accepting the sheriff's hand, he nodded with determination. "I'd be honored to help keep this place safe." The townsfolk cheered as they welcomed Jake into their community, embracing him as one of their own. The fear that had once gripped Silver Creek began to dissipate, replaced by unity and hope for the future. Together with Sheriff Thompson and the townspeople, Jake found purpose and belonging in the very place where he had sought redemption. A true turning point for both him and Silver Creek. As the sun set over Silver Creek, casting a warm glow across the peaceful town, a sense of reflection settled among its residents. The recent events had taught everyone valuable lessons about courage, forgiveness, and the power of unexpected alliances. Jake and Sheriff Thompson, once adversaries, now stood as symbols of how conflicts could lead to unity rather than destruction. The townsfolk gathered in the square, sharing stories of the brave fight they endured together. Laughter and camaraderie filled the air, as they recounted how fear had turned into strength when faced with a common enemy. Children played nearby, illustrating with innocence how the town had reclaimed its spirit. Meanwhile, Jake found himself contemplating his journey from being an outsider to a valued protector of Silver Creek. He realized that acceptance comes from facing one's past while also embracing opportunity. Sheriff Thompson wore a proud smile as he recognized the transformation within Jake. It was not just the drifter who had changed but the entire community. In that moment, hope blossomed, rooted in bravery and new friendships that had emerged from chaos. Silver Creek stood stronger than ever, living proof that the Wild West was not solely about gunfights but also about the bonds forged through adversity.